Hello and welcome back on this beautiful spring day in the Rocky Mountains. My name is Stacey Couch and I'm here today to talk to you about a topic that is long overdue. For those of you that have been to my website, which is wildgratitude.com, you probably have had the opportunity already to download the free ebook that I have there, which is called What is My Spirit Animal? So if you're curious, if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, hop over to my website, wildgratitude.com, and download this free ebook that helps you understand what your spirit animal is. I also have an extensive and expanding library on spirit animal articles that gives in-depth interpretations as to what spirit animals mean in our lives. So you might want to take a look at that as well if you're not familiar with it. But here we are today, the topic, spirit animals. I'm actually going to expand and go into some other areas that aren't covered in the ebook. The ebook covers some really great information, has all the foundation of working with your spirit animals, but there's always more, right? So that's what this video series is about. Today, I'm going to talk about spirit animal ownership. Now that's a interesting concept. Most people don't come to me and say, well, do I own this particular spirit animal? But I hear all the time, how do I know which spirit animal is mine? Maybe they were with someone else when they saw a hawk. Maybe it's a mother and her son, and they always are running into images or stories about bears, and she's not sure, the mother's not sure, is this my spirit animal or my son's spirit animal? And first of all, right out the gate, I would like to say there's no such thing as spirit animal ownership. You can't own a spirit animal. And there's a couple ways that I can help explain this for you. And one of those is that it's just like those of you that have pets are really going to be able to understand this very well. We call it pet guardianship for a reason, because this idea that our dog, our cat, our horse is a piece of property that can be bought and sold is a really bizarre concept. It's a life. There's a soul in there. They have their own free will, their own wants and needs. Yes, we have an inordinate amount of control over where they live, over what they eat, over what they have access to, but still, they are still these living, breathing beings that are independent and have their own life and their own perspective. And so it's really bizarre to say, I own this animal. So any of you who are closely bonded with your pets understand that question of how can I really own them? That's just such a weird idea. And the same is true of spirit animals, and it even goes beyond that. Spirit animals have a ton of freedom. So like our pets, we put them in a fence or put them in the house, and they can't go beyond those boundaries we've set for them. Spirit animals have no boundaries. They are absolutely in a limitless environment. They can come and go as they please. They do not make any specific vow or dedication to us. And they can help out and be of service to other people in our lives as well as us? Absolutely. There's really this free-flowing, no boundaries at all. That's part of the power of a spirit animal, because they are in spirit form, which has no material or corporeal body form. So hopefully that helps you understand. And then that leads us into the next question, which a lot of people have, which is, okay, we get thinking about it. Okay, so I can't own a spirit animal. None of them is mine. Oh no, what happens if they leave? We get pretty attached to them being around. We really enjoy their company, even just some people don't necessarily see them, they just feel the presence. Other people just really get into studying their spirit animal and spending a lot of time reading stories about their spirit animal, watching videos, looking at pictures. If you have a spirit animal that lives in the same habitat that you're in, so like here, I'm in the forest and we've got deer around here, so I could spend quite a bit of time watching deer where I live, and that would be a way for me to actually commune with the spirit animal by being with the spirit animal's incarnate counterparts. Anyways, all of that said, we get bonded pretty closely with our spirit animals and we develop an attachment like we do to many things that we care deeply about. And then what happens if the spirit animal leaves? First of all, is that really a consequence of something we've done wrong? And my answer to that is no. A lot of people are worried that if they do something wrong, if they don't honor their spirit animal properly, so on and so forth, that they are going to lose that spirit animal. And I'd like to wipe the slate clean for you and say it really has no bearing. It could possibly have an influence on that, but ultimately there's a number of reasons that we may never know or understand why our spirit animal might drift or wander away from us. But we have to think about it this way. Think about your friends and family. Think about how many friends you have that you've drifted apart from at times. Even if they live in the same town, months might go by where you guys just get really busy and you don't give each other a call. And then all of a sudden, you start hanging out again. Something happens, you run into them at the grocery store, or you think of them and give them a call, and you guys start doing stuff together again. It's the same idea. There's this ebb and flow in our relationship with our spirit animals, and sometimes some of them move across country. Some of them move to the other side of the world, and we lose touch with them, but we remember them every once in a while, or maybe we'll receive a letter or a message from them every once in a while. It's very similar to the way in which we relate with the people in our lives, because those people in our lives have the freedom to come and go as they please. And so do the spirit animals. And doesn't mean that we were bad, we did something wrong. It's just the natural ebb and flow of life. And so if we feel like our spirit animal has left us and we're worried about it, if we can move into that perspective and just, okay, something's changed in the timing of my life that's made it such that that relationship is no longer needed. Okay, and we can kind of maybe even go through a grieving process if we need, but then open up to see who next is going to come into our life. So there's really no such thing as getting, losing, or getting back a spirit animal. If we don't own them, right? It's more so like a friendship. You're distant, you're really close, you're spending a lot of time, you're maybe disconnected for a while, you're maybe drifting apart or drifting back together. There's a whole spectrum as far as our relationship. It's not this cut and dry, black and white. They're either mine and I have them, or they're gone and I don't have them. It's this whole spectrum in between. And that kind of fluidity gives us more freedom to really loosen up in our relationship with spirit animals. And remember, we have more than one. That's an important thing that I speak about in the ebook. Okay. So let's talk about another piece too. Well, okay, so say they've drifted apart and all of a sudden I've noticed that. Say I've drifted apart from my spirit animal and now I realize that and I really would like to have them back in my life again. What do I do with that? How do I do that? Well, it's very similar to when you start thinking about a friend that you really cared about or really care about and you lost touch with. And you might be dwelling on them for a while and thinking about calling them, and you might forget, something else might come up, so on and so forth. And then, out of nowhere, you get a phone call from them, or you run into them somewhere. The same thing is true with spirit animals. As soon as we start thinking about them again, very often we draw them back into our experience. If it's meant to be, if that's will help our soul's growth. If they don't come back, we just have to accept that there's some grander plan in mind and there's someone else coming to help. Okay? All right. So hopefully that helps give you a good concept of our relationship with spirit animals and how to view that in a more liberating light. And I also want to touch in on the work I do as a shamanic practitioner. When I get together with someone for a shamanic healing session, one of the main healings that I offer and that come through without any effort at all is what's called spirit animal retrieval. Interesting idea, right? That we can retrieve and bring them back. So it does also kind of feed into this whole idea of ownership and losing and getting them back and all of that. But I use that nomenclature because it is the standard in the field. But But I want to clear that up and just get a little more specific on what that means in my practice and what I do for others, what spirit animal retrieval means. And that means that I am just helping you make that connection conscious again. So, or a conscious anew. It may be a new relationship that you have not become aware of yet. So I'm just helping bring it into your awareness. And in addition, I'm also helping make that bond stronger, more tangible, and bring it more into this world, less in the unconscious, subconscious spirit world and unseen spirit world, and more here in the spirit world, or sorry, in the seen world, in the tangible, mundane world. So that's what the service I offer is I help identify what they are and what the relationship looks like and how they're helping out, all of those kind of things. It's really beneficial for those of you that are looking to know more about your relationship with your spirit animals and how you can become more involved. Great. So go ahead and check out my website. These shamanic healing sessions that I mentioned are, there's a lot of information about what those entail and how to get set up with one of those on my website, wildgratitude.com. And then, of course, that free ebook is available on there. There's also a link here in the video to that. If you want to go ahead and click on that link, it'll take you straight to that page if you haven't downloaded it yet. And also the spirit animal articles. Here's a link to that as well. So you'll be able to go straight to the library and browse through and click on whichever animal you want to know more about. Thank you for joining me. And of course, as always, please give the video a thumbs up and also post any comments in the section below. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.